Welcome in to another episode of Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast. I'm your host, David, and here with me today, co-hosts Jeremy and Caleb. We are returning to discuss Stranger Things. If you've been with us since the start, we covered the last volume, Volume 2, Season 4 of Stranger Things, as our fourth episode ever, all the way back in July of 2022, boys. That is over 3 years ago that we covered this show, which is pretty insane.
Telling about the show.
I was going to say, one, just the fact that it's been that long since we've talked about it on a podcast, and it was one of the first things, but two, that it's been this long since they've released more content from the show. So we all did a little rewatch of the first 4 seasons leading up to this. Season 5 drops in about 2.5 weeks. So we got caught up. We're going to discuss some of our key moments from the first 4 seasons, best and worst moments, some of the favorites, and then kind of what we're expecting for season 5. So there's been a trailer released in the last week for season 5, and they also released the first 5 minutes of season 5, which seemed odd at first, but after watching it, it kind of makes sense why they did that and what their strategy was behind that. So that's going to be what we're doing here today. It is a big old Stranger Things day. So if you like Stranger Things and you've seen it, stick around. If you haven't, a lot of spoilers coming your way, so probably dip on out of here and come back after you watch all 4 seasons. And if you're not interested at all in Stranger Things and you're just here because you like us, well, thanks. That's nice. Hi. Before we get into it, check out our most recent episodes. As always, we just dropped the Deceased comic review, DC's little zombie-esque event with Andy and JD covering that. We've got our Weekend Geeks, as always, dropping pretty much weekly. A lot of Avengers Doomsday talk, Welcome to Derry talk, Lanterns talk, and both episodes. Our Alien Earth review is out there, full season. And one of our newest members is, of course, if you're just hearing, I don't know where the hell you've been, but Andy is an official 4th member, and he took on Alien Earth with us in that episode. So that was a fun little dive of that series. So yeah, check them out and be on the lookout because we will be continuing. I forget what we got coming up here. Maybe covering Welcome to Derry, but probably not, depending on the pace. It'll probably be a Weekend Geek topic. What do you think, Club?
When the show ends, probably.
Right. Yeah, we'll just probably kind of briefly discuss it. But unless you really want us to cover it, then shoot us a DM and maybe we'll do it if you request it.
Top 3 HBO show of all time.
Yeah. So Lub was just reading that off. Top 3 series opener for numbers on HBO, which is pretty crazy. Episode 2 brought me back in. Episode 1, I was fading away from it. I wasn't that hooked, but episode 2 is pretty good. So I'm still there. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the reason we are here, which is Stranger Things. The Duffer Brothers. It is Netflix prized possession, I would say. Right, this has got to be their most successful series since Netflix has started. And season 1, I mean, God. I know we just said it's been 3 years since the last volume drops, but release date of season 1 was 2016. It was 9 years ago that this series started, and we're just getting into season 5. So obviously the kids look very, very old as we're rolling into this. You just kind of got to do a little suspension of belief or whatever. Disbelief. Theater of the mind, disbelief. Yeah, suspension of disbelief, theater of the mind, and just kind of accept it. But
especially on the rewatch, when you rewatch it and you binge it and you go from season to season, it's like, whoa, like, especially I think 2 to 3. Yes. 2 to 3 was the big jump where like, whoa, Will's like 18 years old, Mike looks different, Nancy, everyone, you know.
I mean, at least Nancy and Steve stayed somewhat close because they're older. They've gone through their developmental years, but seeing season 2 kids in Ghostbusters outfits and season 3 opening up with Mike and 11 making out, and Mike looking like his entire face has grown 3 times the size that it was in the last season. I was startling. So coming into this, I'll get into it, but it's going to be very interesting, the difference between season 1 and season 5 with these kids being as old. Sadie Sink looks a lot older. Everybody looks a lot older on the red carpet. I'm a little nervous, but anyways, let's start this off. We're going to rank the 4 seasons. And if you got a rating, throw it out. Feel free. I kind of loosely put together something, but you know, no hard feelings if you don't have a rating for it too. So rankings, JD, why don't you start us off? Worst to best. What's the rankings for you?
All right. Yeah, I don't have a rating, but I ranked them 4. No, sorry. So 2 being my least favorite. by far. And it was even hard to come up with a lot of really standout scenes for our next discussion on this. Season 2, just not the best. For me, season 3 is next. And the hardest two to rate, I put season 1 second best, and then season 4 is my favorite. It really picked it up.
Oh.
4 really just amplified the whole thing, right? It turned into a damn sci-fi action going, it was all horror thriller, and then there were just fireworks really start in season 4. A great villain, so had to do it. But it's close because season 1 is such a good, grounded mystery horror thriller, and the vibes, especially the score, stood out in season 1. It just
so good,
really, really nice. But yeah, I got to give it to season 4.
Yeah. It's almost like a different genre between season 1 and season 4. Like it's a totally different style of season. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Season 1 for me tops it for soundtrack. The score in season 1, it brings you back to the 80s in such a good way. Season 2, they hit all like the 80s pop songs. It was a little over the top with the 80s soundtrack, but season 1, it was perfect. All right. I like it. Season 4 at the top, season 2 at the bottom. Love, what do we got for you?
Well, it's actually the same, but I did rate them. So nice. At the bottom is season 2 at a 6.7. So it was not very good for me. I was not a big fan of it. Season 3, I actually kind of enjoyed season 3. I do have it at a 7.4. I think the mall stuff, the introduction of a couple new characters, it was good. Season 1 is an 8.5, a big jump up. I think season 1 and 4 are clearly the two best. And then season 4 is an 8.7. So if you go back and listen to our 4th episode, we did rank things a little higher back then. So this is my new ranking after rewatching it. It is an 8.7.
We were excited.
Yeah. And I think I've made the declaration on an episode. No, maybe I haven't made it on an episode. I don't know, but I am. I'm changing my rating system too. It was too high. Looking back at all my ratings and realizing I don't use the 1 through 10 scale. I use the 6 through 10 scale, or maybe the 5 through 10, but I don't actually use the full scale. So I'm adjusting my rating systems a little bit too. So my ratings are going to be a little bit harsher. I don't remember. I haven't checked what I put for season 4. But I'm pretty confident
it was over a 9 for me.
Yeah, and none of these seasons are at a 9 for me anymore. So, all right. So you guys I got a different ranking than you in multiple ways, actually. Season 3 is my bottom, barely. But season 2, I just like the vibe more. I like the first time watching it. I didn't mind the tunnel mystery. I like Bob as a character. I like Hopper. I hate Hopper in season 3. Can't stand him in season 3. Like, just ruined his character for me. He's just obnoxious. And so I couldn't watch season 3's Hopper. A lot of the scenes, the newspaper stuff in season 3, it just felt very cartoonish. Like how sexist they were in every scene. It was like over the top. They're laughing. So it just felt very cartoonish for me for season 3. So it kind of took a little bit off for me. So I got season 3 at the bottom, probably around 7.2. Season 2 right above that, but barely. Very different type of feel to the seasons, but I just like the quality of season 2 more. And I didn't like the mind flayer thing in season 3, the flesh thing. It didn't do it for me. I didn't like the big ball of flesh chasing them through the mall and all that. It wasn't for me. Season 4 is a big jump from season 2, but that's my number 2, season 4, and I got that around an 8.6. Season 1, 8.7, a little bit higher than season 4. They're totally different, but dude, it was just so nostalgic. I just loved the way season 1 made me feel when I was watching it. I felt like a kid watching it again. It had the horror, the mystery aspects to it, but the acting was great. The kids were still the kids. It just felt like this very unique, but also not, because obviously there's a lot of nods to the 80s horror movies and everything, but it felt like its own thing too, in its own way. It did something for me watching that first season. So I gave it the nod over season 4, but 4 was solid too.
I think what separates it from the super similar stuff like it is the heart, and the happiness. There is a lot of heart and happiness in between the horror. So I think that balance is way better than anything that it might feel like it. Yeah.
I just watched it for the first time, start to finish. Finished it this morning, and I like Stranger Things a lot more. Yeah. It's not as feel horrific. Good. Not that I'm looking for feel good and horror, but yeah, it was just a little over the top for me.
At season 2, I just want to point out, because there was like all the storylines were terrible. You had Elle going with that 8 character, and
After
like
being in the cabin for the first 5 episodes.
Yes, exactly. So starting with her and Hopper, at least Hopper wasn't as bad as season 3, but still, I wasn't a huge fan of Hopper and Elle, and their relationship for that whole first half of the season. I like their relationship. I just don't like how much screen time there was dedicated to that compared to season 1, where every time Elle was on screen, something super interesting was happening, or super badass, or something crazy, and now we're just stuck in a cabin with Hopper. And then we get out and start doing the stuff
number
with 8. Yeah. So just not a lot to love. Sean Astin's character, love Sean Astin, but he was an idiot, dude. He told Will to.
He was super.
He told Will, and I couldn't buy into him seeing their drawings taped all over their house, and for him to recognize patterns on a map and to be able to pinpoint the specific location. I was like, that is a bit far. And then he's like, Will, you got to stand up to that thing, turn around, face him,
open your mouth real wide.
So, and then terrible advice. So he was kind of annoying, but I love Sean Astin.
Yeah, season 2, I didn't like Tweaker Will, and also Dustin and Dart. Like, why are you keeping that fucking monster as a pet, dude? It was so annoying the whole time. Like, bro, I know it's cool, you want to be the cool kid, but like, that's a monster. Clearly.
Yeah, like from the Upside Down, and they're all so smart. And
he thought it was a salamander. Okay.
Yeah.
Until he knew it wasn't, and he still kept it.
And that was just like Tommy Boy stress stuff. Like the thing's just causing problems. You're like, no, he loses it in school. Yeah, he's like, dude, you should not have that little thing.
So I agree with all that. I will say I totally agree with the cabin stuff. The 11 stuff sucked in season 2 until she showed up at the end, which was a dope, badass return. The finale and the episode leading up to the felony. The last 2 episodes after the Detroit side quest were really good for me, which is what put it over the top for me. I thought those were a better finale than season 3's finale.
Yes,
I did not like the mall finale.
I had that. I like the finale. Season 2 finale was better than 3. Yeah. Or maybe even the penultimate. I think that there was never a weak finale in any of these seasons. They all ended well, even the penultimate. Yeah. So season 2 over season 3 for finale for sure. Yeah.
It's crazy though how much. Yeah, I think they just experimented in both seasons in different ways. And again, are we seeing 8 in season 5? After all that time, we kept randomly nodding to this little girl and then never mentioned her in any of the flashbacks in season 4, by the way. Inside the lab, she's never in any of those flashbacks. So what happened to her?
Though? Like, it's so weird. Why wouldn't they just have a little Indian girl?
Remember? Yeah, just I don't know. I don't know why. Like, it was clearly every single child in that lab was white, by the way, in season 4. But yeah, she was.
Papa knows what he's going for.
It was just like, why did we bring that character up? And obviously they bailed on it. Otherwise they would have made some mention of her in season 4 there. Like they had plenty of opportunities to at least show her in a background scene. So very weird. I agree. They were both very imperfect. I guess I appreciated by the end of season 2 wrapped. I felt a little better about it than the end of season 3. Both have their issues. And season 2, we got more of Billy, normal Billy, which I liked. Season 3 was possessed weird Billy, which was good scenes here and there, but I liked the Billy character we got in season 2.
Me too.
And his whole rivalry with Steve and everything. I really liked that.
Well, Billy and Max were both probably the best part of season 2, besides any like finale stuff. Max was also a great character. I love watching the kids like be super enthralled with this Mad Max character from the arcade, and then getting to befriend her, and also convincing her of the Upside Down. I thought all that was really great. And Billy was such a good little kind of random side villain in a way, but interesting character. Yeah.
But still like a villain, but like still encouraging Steve all the way along. Like he's actually still giving him advice and like it was weird. Like he was like, he's kind of murderous, like the It bullies, but he's literally giving him defensive advice in basketball. And he's like, I don't know. He felt like he had some humanity in him, even though he was a little demonic and a bully. But I don't know. I felt like there was good in there too.
Right,
I liked the character they built.
His dad's a piece of shit, so that's obviously why he's the piece of
shit. Right. Exactly.
But yeah, you could see there's potentially a good heart in there. Yeah. And by the end of that would actually be season 3, but he does sacrifice himself at the end. So he pulls the Vader, I'm good at the end card.
He did. So real quick, I mean, we're just kind of open flowing here talking about it. And speaking of sacrifices, I'm curious what you guys thought, because this was a big one in the most recent season with the Eddie sacrifice. So we see Billy make a sacrifice at the end of season 3. Bob makes his sacrifice at the end of season 2. Eddie makes his sacrifice at the end of season 4.
The new character always dies.
Nobody did in season 1. Dr. Brenner got killed and came back, but that was pretty much it for season 1 as far as sacrifices go. Oh, 11, I guess, but she came back.
Yeah.
She, I guess, I forgot she disappeared. But how did we like Eddie's death? Because I didn't like it my first time. I did a rewatch, and I liked it even less. I feel like it was just super forced. So I'm curious what you guys thought about the Eddie death. Did it land for you? Did it work for you?
It's sad in the moment when Dustin's like holding him in his arms, but when you do kind of analyze it, where he's just like, I don't know exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to give them more time. By making the bats go away from the motorhome. Is that because the gate was right there? Was he trying to stop them from getting through the gate?
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. But Dustin was already halfway up. The gate's going to be open anyway, right? But yeah, I think that was the point, was he'll ride away and buy them more time. But,
yeah,
it didn't resonate with me either way. I didn't love it or hate it. It just happened. I was just sad to see him go, though, because what a great new character. They do good at these like new characters coming in, but he's got to be the best one. He's so, charismatic, relatable, fun, goofy, crazy. Seeing him go sucked. Did you guys like his little music video before he went out, though?
Dude, the Metallica is
Master of Puppets. Let's go.
Oh my god.
So totally cinematic, not logical, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's like, how I felt.
He could. They're amps, so you can play it from inside the trailer, and the speakers are still going to play the same amount of. You don't need to be on top of the trailer and then make this mad dash to the portal. You can play it from the portal because they're speakers. They're plugged in. They're like, so there was a lot of it where it's like, yeah, that's unnecessary, but it was a badass.
It looked cool though.
Moment.
Did it not look cool?
Visually,
it was metal.
Very metal.
Was the most metal thing Dustin's ever seen. Like, no, it was a cool cinematic little thing there, but yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense, which I think is my whole problem with the whole end sequence. It was all very cinematic and dramatic, but none of it really made logical sense as to why he needed to sacrifice himself and all that. And Dustin still ended up chasing him and broke his arm and then ran out there too. So he didn't even save Dustin. Dustin was in danger. The only reason they were both saved is because of the Vecna stuff that happened at the same time that pulled the bats away.
Well, they all died.
Yeah, he fired, or yeah, he hit Vecna with the flames. They hit him with the Molotov cocktail
to the ground
at the same time.
Yeah.
So did he give him more time? Yeah, but if he still just went through the portal with Dustin, the Molotov cocktail is about to happen anyway. So worst case, some of them got through the portal and then died on the other side of it. So I don't know. I wish they would have just kept him. He was a great character. I loved him. Joseph Quinn killed it, made everybody fall in love with him, and I just thought it was unnecessary. But
all the ladies fell in love with him.
Yeah,
and some of the men.
That. We're on the. Do we see any sacrificial deaths coming in season 5? Do you guys have a character that you're like, yeah, they're gonna sacrifice themselves to die at the end of this series?
Steve.
I have Steve or Jonathan. I think one of them are gonna die. I think that's
Will. I could see Will. He's kind of
that seems like the easy answer, but then it's like he's been through so much, so they finally give him a happy ending, or does he actually just die?
I don't see any of the main boys dying.
Me neither.
The four of them. Yeah,
I don't think so either.
I think Lucas is gonna die.
You're crazy.
I think he's gonna die. I think Steve's gonna die. He's at the top of my list, unfortunately, but I think either him or Jonathan for sure going to die. Nancy's not going to have both of them alive at the end of this. She's not going to have to make a decision. One of them is going to be dead.
It's going to be chosen for her.
Yeah, exactly. And she's never going to have to have made that hard decision her whole life because she's prissy little Nancy. She'll just wait for one of them to die. Yeah, one of them's going to die. I think it'll be Steve. I think Lucas dies. And I think Elle technically does, but I think she's just stuck. Like I've said this before, she's stuck in the Upside Down to close the portal for good and close off the Upside Down. To delete it, she sacrifices herself as well. But that I think
my
Will.
Long shot. 11's my long shot. Death.
She's your long shot. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my more of portion of my list is 11 and Steve or Jonathan, and then Lucas. I think Will either has a very brutal death where Elle has to kill him, or he survives and is crippled for the rest of his life. Can you imagine Elle having to kill Will because Vecna's puppeteering him, and that's the only way to stop whatever's happening? Like that'd be pretty wild. But those are my death predictions. JD, who else do you think is gonna die? Anybody else?
I saw a theory that Will has already been dead, so he's just been dead this whole time, and somehow that's going to play back into beating Vecna. No, that's all I got. I don't think there's going to be a lot of death. So,
like he's been dead since he came back at the end of season 1,
or maybe since the shadow monster went inside of him. I don't know.
Oh, season 2.
Yeah. Jonathan or what's his name? Steve, for sure. I'm like 100%. One of them are going to die. Pretty much like for why Dave said that. And after you guys talked about it, I'll throw Elle on there because there has to be, I feel like, a big death, even though I don't think any major characters or their immediate family members are going to die. Like not Max or not Mike.
Do we think Hopper's safe?
Yeah, because I think Joyce and Harper are going to be.
He kind of already had his death too.
Right. Don't kill Hopper again. Right. But yeah, I don't want to put Elle on that list because I feel like she's just going to be. Hopper and Joyce will pretty much she'll be taken into that family. Never mind, I take it back. That makes it seem like she will be dead because then she's just gonna. Then
you have to kill Steve too because you can't have Elle and Jonathan die or Joyce will never be able to live again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Elle. Sure, I went way too long just to say some dumb shit. All right.
What if it's Jonathan, Elle, and Will? Just the whole.
And Joyce just ends it at the end of the season.
And Hopper.
Cut to black.
Why not just have Vecna win, dude? Just grow some balls, have him kill everybody.
Night King style?
I like it. Okay, I know we just kind of jumped into death predictions because we were talking about, death there. But before we move into the rest of the season 5 expectations, do we have anything that just grabbed you, starting from season 1? Obviously we talked about it's a different genre, the whole MK Ultra testing references and the scientist side of it and the mystery horror stuff. That whole aspect of season 1, I think, is what grabbed me the most, and the nostalgia. And Matthew Modine killed it in his limited kind of antagonist role as Dr. Brenner. He was creepy, barely even in it though, but for some reason he was unsettling the whole time. So those are some of my favorite aspects of season 1 there. I don't know. Did you guys have any key moments or points that makes you have season 1 almost at the top of your list?
I think the 2 most unforgettable scenes, the getaway scene with the van when they're riding away on their bikes and Elle flips the van over, is pretty iconic. Sick. Yeah. And then the Christmas light scene where Joyce communicates with Will and they all start kind of flickering on, and everyone thinks she's crazy. We know she's not crazy. And then, that whole light thing is like the tip of the cap where everyone can finally believe her.
Right. I loved Joyce in season 1. Her obsession with finding Will, obviously, or like absolutely not going to consider anything other than he's alive, and she's just going fucking crazy trying to find him. Loved Joyce in season 1. Yeah.
While her older son is telling her, you're crazy. Everybody, you need to face this. We need to have this funeral. Stop. Right. Like he's begging her to just accept it. And she knows that she's been talking with them. And then we find that the dead body thing was a great little twist in the plot, because the first time I watched it, I was like, wait, he's dead? Like that. We all thought that was Will in the lake that they found. And then it turns out, it's a puppet or whatever the hell.
Yeah. Cotton inside of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just watching that all for the first time. It was almost perfect for the genre that it's in. It really was. Like the more I talk about it, the more I want to give it a 9 again. But it's at least an 8.8 for me. But man, it was just so perfect for its genre.
Some other standout scenes: Mike jumping off the cliff and then Elle saving him midair.
Yeah,
that was a big one.
That was cool.
And one of the Elle's most badass moments is just knocking out all those security guards with the flick of her neck when they're all captured in the facility almost, and just drops like over a dozen of these dudes. So thought that was sick.
That, and when they're in the hallway in the school and she stops them and the blood just starts coming out of their eyeballs as they're in the school hallway. Like, dude, there were some crazy sequences of just like.
Is that the one I'm thinking of? Was that in the school or the facility when
two
she
different
drops?
So The ones
All
I
those
think that was in the
people.
lab, and she does her neck thing, and they all just collapse. And then, but yeah, in the school, there's 2 of them, and the female scientist lady who's been going around killing everybody, and their heads and eyes just it looks like what happens with Vecna's victims, interestingly enough. Which I wonder if there's some. That's the only other time we've seen people and their heads crush and blood start coming out of their eyes was season 1 with Elle doing that, and then Vecna's kills. So.
Well, I think at the end of season 4, when Vecna and Elle have that final confrontation, she kind of talks about how they're the 2 special ones that were in the lab. You know, the 2 ones that had like those reality bending powers. Everyone else was just telekinetic, but they were like the 2 experts.
Yeah, they're like Omega level mutants as far as that goes compared to the rest of the kids in the little laboratory. But Omega level, that doesn't feel right.
Omega level mutant is the term for that. Yeah.
All right. Well, that doesn't feel right.
But season 1, I think the mystery aspect is the best out of any season. Like the disappearance of Will, and then the murder, or like the disappearance of Nancy's friend. So murder mystery, and then of course Elle herself just showing up in a forest, walking around. So another mystery, and then another standout scene was her talking to that cook. The cook is going to help her out. Benny. Super nice guy. Like that. Then he freaking calls child services and ruins it, but still, like, had a really nice moment there.
Shoot him in the head,
and they died.
Yeah, and they died. So that really elevated the story too. You're like, holy shit.
That was a total other plot point, was Hopper's investigation, and he thought he was investigating Will this whole time, and it turns out he's been following 11's track.
That's right.
Yeah, there was a lot of really good layers. Every episode was just great, man. Every episode ended, and it was like, oh, I got to watch the next one. And I think season 1 dropped all at once. I think that's how they did it when they first dropped the season, because Netflix shows all of them. It was all every season or every episode would drop all at once back then. And so I think I remember binging a good amount of this the first time it came out. It was just so good, man.
Yeah.
I just rewatched it, but it's making me want to consider rewatching it again.
Whoa. Easy, champ.
Oh, I'm not that crazy. Let's move to season 2 real quick. This again, a lot of issues in this one, not a lot of high moments, a lot of questionable moments. I had notes just as far as through the first 6 episodes, I actually was liking season 2 more than season 3. The Detroit thing brought it much more evenly than it needed to be. But I really thought, again, all of my highs are really in the last 2 episodes. The Mad Max stuff was interesting. I liked the whole trick or treat. There was still some fun little kid. That sounds horrible. There was still some fun childhood feelings, like scenes, the trick or treats, the school sequences. Those are always fun aspects of Stranger Things. It gives you the nostalgia and memories of being a kid. And there was still a lot of innocence in this season, before things were too bad and too far gone, like in season 1. But the end sequence, when you've got the demo dogs fighting Steve in the little junkyard, and then they all converge on the lab, and you find out that Will set up the soldiers, and he's actually a spy. He sent them all down to that one area, and then they're like, what's going on? He goes, you shouldn't have made him mad. And then the demo dogs just come in and tear up all the soldiers, come tearing into the lab, and it's just a crazy sequence of these panicked soldiers running through the laboratory with these dogs just high speed ripping them to pieces. Like the whole last 2 episodes of the season, I thought were fantastic. So and Paul Reiser. That's my other big positive of season 2. And that's Paul Reiser's character, Dr. Owens. He's the guy who comes in to clean up Dr. Brenner's mess. You don't know whether you can trust him or not. He acts great to where you think, but it's almost like he's so nice. You're expecting the other shoe to fall and this guy to be a piece of crap. And he's really just a genuinely good dude. And he's honestly one of my favorite characters of the series. I'm glad he's still alive, actually. He almost died in season 2. He just made it. But yeah, he was a great addition to this show. So he was one of my shining points of this season.
Well, hopefully he got out of those handcuffs at the end of season 4, because he's still handcuffed to that.
They left him there. Yeah.
They left him there inside. So I'm sure he got out.
Those jerks.
Season 2 for me, another standout was Dustin and Steve's relationship. Really, really, really loved them as a duo. Just every time they were on screen together. So that was awesome. The ending, plus we also learn about how her mother was stripped away, Elle's mom, how Papa stripped her away from Elle. That's really heartbreaking there. And then a very just like Dragon Ball Z style ending where she starts thinking about that trauma, and then she stops the tear in reality. And she levitates. Like, right? We saw her in the trailer of season 5 that she flies, and I totally forgot. Yeah,
Jedi force jump.
Yeah, pretty much. So I thought that was random until I noticed that she actually did levitate when she was unleashing that power there. So
yeah, I think she's levitated twice now. I think she did it with Vecna too when they were facing off. And now, they fly now.
My standout moments from season 2, I did like the Mind Flare just as like a big, ominous villain presence, and then Bob's hero moment. I mean, Bob was a solid character. He'll always be remembered.
Mop. That damn mop. He was. I don't know. He was easy to root for. He was just a genuinely good dude, despite the terrible advice he gave to Will, which may or may not have doomed him for life. I enjoyed Sean Astin's character there.
Yeah, it's how Rudy would act 30 years later.
Yeah, don't. We don't bring up Rudy. I hate how all this new generation though is like, oh, Bob from Stranger Things. It's like, it's Frodo, you son, or it's Sam. Yeah. Oh God, got the tape.
The generation before that, it was Rudy. Sam. It's Samwise to us.
Yeah, or the Goonies.
Oh yeah,
on Aston and the Goonies. Anyways,
wow,
Bob. Yeah,
he looks, by the way, identical to our friend Coleman. Like that dude just looks identical. Doesn't look any different.
That's so funny, Rudy Coleman. What a guy. Any last thoughts on season 2? I know we all gave our distaste for the whole side plot with 8 and everything. Anything else you guys want to throw out there? I'm good if you are.
I'm good.
All right, season 3 mall season. I talked about it. I thought it was a bit cartoonish and colorful. It felt very different from the other 2 seasons, which felt a little bit muted colors and serious. Hopper was a cartoon character. Murray was a cartoon character. The newspaper was a cartoon character. The mall was full of cartoon characters. The Russian scientist was a cartoon character. Even the knockoff Russian Arnold Schwarzenegger was kind of a cartoon character. So a lot of it was cartoonish for me, and Hopper just sucked. He was just fat, angry, moron with jealousy issues. Like all of a sudden he came from this like strategic. Yeah, he was a drunk and he wasn't a happy person, but he was a Vietnam vet with a lot of skill and he was kind of a badass. And then season 3, he's this fat oaf who just is in a recliner yelling at kids. And it was like, God, who likes this character? Who wants this guy here? But Billy's plot line was pretty solid. The whole mystery of him getting dragged into there and being mind flayed and the people missing was a good mystery. But I think my favorite was Steve and Dustin. Their friendship that started in season 2, like JD said, and then they come into the mall and they've got their secret handshake,
lightsaber,
decoding the Russian code with Maya Hawke, who is a great addition as Robin in this season. I really loved her too. The whole gang with Erica, Dustin, Robin, and Steve were great for this season. So that was a lot of my top points for me. Love, what were some of your highlights?
Murray. Have we talked about Murray?
Oh yeah, Murray was good in season 3.
Yeah, I have season 3 above season 2 because I did enjoy the mall for the most part. I thought it was a good change of pace from the show. They were getting a little older, at least. Hopper's letter at the end, that was pretty sad.
Oh, it got me.
It got me a little bit, yeah. And I'm not a big fan of Will. He might come up in a later topic, but I was kind of agreeing with Will in this season where the kids were growing up without him, where it's like he wants to still like play D&D. He wants to be a kid, and like it was kind of nostalgic in that way. Where like, now we're all adults now, and we're all worrying about all our jobs and families and stuff, and just to be able to like slow down. Like they were only 13 years old, and Lucas wants to go after Max. Mike wants to go after Elle, and Dustin's just doing his own little thing.
And Will already got his wizard uniform on. He's like, "Come on, guys, let's stay."
Yeah, right. So his character in season 4 is pretty annoying, but in season 3, it was like, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. Where you just want to like be a kid and have fun with your friends, and they're off, chasing girls.
Yeah, I think that was very relatable. And even though I don't like Will much as a character either, it hit. It made me be like, the first time watching, like, yeah, dude, I totally miss those days. Think about that all the time. I miss when life was that simple, and these kids are 13 already struggling with that. So
yeah,
that was a good touch.
Yeah, for me, Billy stand out. Seeing, like you said, seeing this guy who was already pretty scary of a character get sucked up by the supernatural side of things. Like, you kind of expected him to bring his own villainous stuff, but just have nothing to do with the Upside Down. So seeing him actually become a victim of the Upside Down was something I didn't expect. And then he's just even scarier because he's all mind washed as he's interacting with the other characters. He's all messed up and evil.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, there's not like a ton of amazing standout moments when I think about it. But and if I'm comparing season 2, Hopper and Elle's story wasn't the best, but I kind of do prefer Elle's story in season 3 here. Kind of more adapting to being a person. Is this where she dumps Mike?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that wasn't as bad, right? So her and Max it was way better than her and 8 and way better than her and Hopper in season 2, in my opinion, but still not amazing. Yeah. Dustin and Steve were standouts. 11 versus Billy, definitely a standout scene there.
Yeah. The sauna scene was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Billy goes out a hero, you know, and again, a solid finale, solid penultimate, very high stakes at the end of this. Is this when Hopper is going to sacrifice, die too?
Yeah, right.
So Hopper towards the end, he wasn't as bad. They were doing more detective-y stuff, trying to figure out the corruption, like how the mayor was involved and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was probably Hopper's best, like, small portion of screen time in between season 2 and 3. That was one of the better stuff from Hopper, even though he was terrible most of season 3. But yeah.
Yeah. No, he was. I did, you know, him beating up Carrie Elways, I think, the mayor who played Princess Bride, William, I forgot his name.
Is the guy from the first Saw movie?
I think he is, yeah.
The doctor with the chain on his leg? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. So I love that scene with Hopper beating him up in the office after he figures out, you know, that it's his guy who's chasing him down and everything. I do like that aspect of Hopper. The only other thing I'll add, which, yeah, when we thought Hopper actually died, that note was very sad. It even made me emotional on my rewatch when I knew he wasn't dead, which is how I know it's written pretty well.
Yeah.
But my other, just a highlight of this season, it was one of the episodes, and it's when you get that first reveal. It's after, I think, Billy's defeated in the sauna. So we get that crazy sauna test fight. And then Billy and Heather end up going back to the mill. And it starts showing them and like, well, we're going to be ready soon or something, blah, 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 blah. And then it turns to the song We'll Meet Again in this super creepy, distorted way. And it zooms out and it shows the whole warehouse of just people standing there. Like, it was just a super creepy end of the episode that it hit. Like, I thought it was such a good way to end episode. I think it was episode 4 of the sauna test or something, but it was great. That was like the peak for me for this season. And then, yeah, so we got season 4, which we talked about. Again, we covered that for our 4th episode of all time. We covered volume 2 of season 4, episode 4. Go ahead and listen to that if you'd like. The video or the sound quality is probably going to be just a bit worse, as we were on a Zoom call with Apple headphones. But there were some solid positives, and I would just say the premiere was great and set it up really solid. I liked how we got the 2 different sides. Now we got a group in California and a group in Hawkins. We get the high school thing, which felt weird seeing all of the kids we've been watching be in high school. But I liked it. I liked all the different jump scenes, setting them all up, and their Hellfire Club group and the basketball team and Lucas being on the squad and them kind of split up there. Obviously, Eddie gets introduced in his cafeteria scene, which is great, how he's talking about what society expects from people. And this is his year. He's going to graduate in his 3rd senior year or whatever.
Yeah,
so it's a great little, it felt like a nostalgic kind of throwback again, like a feel good school time kind of John Hughes almost feel to it. So I liked the opening. And Joe Quinn was just great. The murder mystery with Chrissy in episode 2 kicks us off. And it was a solid mystery. It was the best mystery since season 1. And the whole teases of what is possessing these kids. This is crazy. Is this even related to the Upside Down? Like, what the hell is this? And then you find out the Vecna reveal. It's great. So I think my favorite aspect, if I had to pick one of season 4, small, like very specific, is just the bell tolling. when we got those scenes where the kids are walking and then you hear that bell toll and they see the clock off in the distance and that starts their little vision. Like, I thought it was set up perfectly. Super creepy. So I thought this was a really fun season.
Mm-hmm. I think my couple favorite moments, leaving the finale out with the Eddie guitar solo and all that stuff. Max getting saved last moment in the cemetery. It's the first time we hear Running Up That Hill, which is like an iconic song for this season, where you think she's about to get, murdered viciously, right, and they save her. And then 1 to 11 telling his villain origin story was pretty cool, where they go flashback and how he was originally created and sent back, and the whole 11, realming him to the shadow realm. That was really cool. All that.
Yeah. The soundtrack I think was the second best. Season 1 was more
grounded,
like background music.
Yeah,
grounded.
More. I can't, but yeah,
kind of grounded.
Like
songs.
It was like bangers, but it was Metallica Journey, and they were used in epic ways, leading into epic scenes. Like, they were used great in this season for sure. Mm-hmm.
The big standout for season 4 was the scene where Papa finally dies and Ella takes down the helicopter. Like, by far, that was just so cool.
That was sick.
That whole thing was great. Also, Vecna, obviously great villain. Like, I hate how it's just a long monologue, but at the same time, it's really good. So it was like, again, kind of Dragon Ball Z style. The villain's just standing there telling you his whole story, like the whole thing from beginning to end. But still, dude, somehow it worked. And the mystery with the slaughter, we're led to believe that Elle had slaughtered all these kids in there. And that, makes you wonder, maybe she does have a very dark past. And then, of course, that was Vecna. It was Peter. Peter, kind of a shining light of hope for Elle while we're flashing back to these very dark scenes.
He's a good actor. Very good actor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very eerie, kind of like intelligent, eccentric. Jason was a standout for me in season 4. I thought they kind of did what they did with Billy in season 2 and turned Jason into that once he found out, or once he assumed that Eddie killed his girlfriend, because
he
was a good side villain.
Yeah, pretty scary too. Like, he's got his jock buddies, and they're much more athletic than our group of friends here.
And he's slowly losing his mind.
Yeah, he's losing his mind. He's getting the whole town hyped up. It was like at church or a basketball rally or something. He preaches, gets everyone after Eddie.
Yeah, he did the basketball rally hype up, and then he had the town hall hype up too. He had a couple big speeches to groups of people this season.
Yeah, and when he finally comes across them, and they're like doing their band stuff, right? And then they kick over some instruments. They might have beat some guy up there. Just super mean.
Yeah. They worked better. The bullies in California were so cartoonish. It was just obnoxious for me. The Angela and the girls who were bullying Elle, like, they were so over the top cartoonish. And I know that's how sometimes high school bullies are, but it was a bit much. I didn't really enjoy any of the California plot line until we got to Dr. Brenner and that whole lab thing and everything. But Argyle, the stoner, all that stuff, I could have done without.
Yeah, he didn't really hit as much as I wanted him to. He could have been a really fun character. Also, Lucas. I think Lucas had a much better arc in this season, trying to balance the friendship with the jocks and the friendship with his OG friends. And I thought he did it well. Like, I was worried he would kind of really turn his back on them, but he didn't. He did kind of play both sides.
That was cool how I did that.
Yeah, he did the best with what he could do.
Yeah.
Eventually, when Papa picks up Elle again, when she finally gets arrested for just nailing Angela with a skate,
that was sick.
And then the agents pull them over, and you're just like, no, back in the thralls of Papa,
dude.
So
that was messed up, because I love Dr. Owens. And we had this really cool scene with Dr. Owens and Elle where he sits her down, and they had a really emotional moment. And Dr. Owen is recruiting 11 and affirming, you're one of the good ones. I know you think you're a monster, but you are one of the good ones. And he gives her this great speech, and she's ready. And she's like, all right, let's do it. And then he just blindsides her by bringing her to an underground lab where Dr. Brenner is. He's like, well, that's a way to lose her trust. Why wouldn't have you told her that on the front end? You just and then they inject her with sedatives. It's like, dude,
yeah, okay.
So you had this big motivational talk with Elle, and you guys are on the same page, and then you blindside her and knock her out and show her worst nightmare as Dr. Brenner. Like, that was kind of messed up, Dr. Owen.
Yeah, that just screams he was under Papa's wing, and he was like, I'm going to try to do this the nice way.
And he did. He tried. He stepped in, and he said he had a really nice moment at the end where he said, we said this would not be a prison, and if she wanted to go, she could go. She wants to go.
True.
And had her back and was getting ready.
Multiple
and
times.
Then Dr. Brenner knocked him out and had him locked up because he said, no, we're not doing that. And then he died, thankfully. So, but that whole aspect between Dr. Owen, Brenner, and 11 and her finding her power again and explaining the past with Vecna all at the same time, I thought it was done masterfully. And then they capped it with Nancy being told Vecna's story while we're getting 11's memories with 1 all coinciding in the same scene. I thought it was great. Like that was done really well. The whole Creel house. Love, did you like the Creel house? I know you're a horror fan, and Victor Creel here was played by the iconic Freddy Krueger, aka
I don't know his name.
It's oh my god. I feel so bad now.
Robert Englund.
There you go, Robert Englund.
Robert Englund.
Yeah, he played Victor Creel. Was that one of your shining moments at all, Lub? Because that was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, he's well, I like the flashback of young Vecna in his house because that was kind of
right.
So this season that was kind of a knock for me actually, because I know this show does pay homage to a lot of things that came before it, but I feel like it was a little heavy-handed in season 4. So I actually did write down a lot of the things because that's almost Amityville horror. That kind of new family moves into a haunted house and bad things start to happen. So obviously we have Nightmare on Elm Street. Vecna is, in people's dreams, killing them in their dreams, basically. There's a lot of It vibes with the kids. That's kind of the whole season. Vecna looks a lot like Hellraiser. You ever seen that one? Pinhead, kind of same vibe. Alien, obviously with the Demigorgons running around. They're a lot like Alien. They look like what are they called?
Like xenomorphs.
Xenomorphs. Yeah. And then also The Ring. So Vecna shows up and you die 7 days later. I don't know if you guys realize that, but Chrissy, she had her first vision and 7 days later she died. So it's kind of The Ring there.
I didn't realize it was 7 days. I just knew it was the 4 clicks or whatever. Yeah, however many. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
And then I even got Star Wars vibes with Vecna 1 telling 11 to join me. And then the score in that scene is kind of like an orchestra. So I don't know if they're going for like Star Wars vibes there, but he was like, join me and we can rule the world as we see fit. It was like Anakin,
as father and son. Shit. No.
So yeah, a little bit too much, a little heavy-handed this season, but it was still cool.
I thought it was significantly more scary and unsettling than other seasons, especially the limbs snapping and everything. But like the nightmare visions when Fred sees the people crawling out of the car on fire, screaming, and Victor sees the baby crib on fire, and dude, it was unsettling, way more than the first 3 seasons of this show. I really liked that. What was the other? Just like I said, the whole thing with Victor Creel, I thought the background with Henry making them relive his war moments where he accidentally bombed a house full of civilians and he's seeing this crib on fire and he's going, everybody thinks they're good people, but they're not. I see all of their regrets. And it was just very interesting the way he was making everybody feel their regrets. It was a bit too long of a speech, that thing. And the spiders, I don't really know what he meant by spiders are like gods. He lost me with the spider analogy during that part of the speech. Pretty much all it meant to me is, spiders, weird, it coincides with weird people, and the Mind Flayer looks like a spider, so sure. But it felt forced. But I just loved the whole setup. I think my favorite part with the Creel and the clocks isn't even involving Vecna. It's Steve. When they all walk into the house, and Steve's like, why is this wizard obsessed with clocks? You think he was like a clockmaker? Dustin's like, yeah, you cracked it, Steve. That's great. You cracked the case. Like, dude, it reminded me of you're embarrassing me in front of the wizard here.
Yeah.
Why is the wizard obsessed with clocks? Great villain to add into the 4th season of a show here.
Yeah.
I don't know why I liked it so much, but when Elle first comes across Vecna, and she just says hi, and then she's freaking powers him down. I for some reason I thought that was so genuine to her. Like it was like the season 1 Elle being very genuine. Just, hey, it's been a while since I've seen you. Bam.
Felt fitting. It was nice. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to point this out. During the Vecna thing, he's talking to Nancy, and Vecna's showing her the destruction of Hawkins at the very end. He's tell Elle, I want you to tell everything, and shows her this crazy. When she's telling everybody, she goes, Hawkins, they're coming into Hawkins. There's a massive being with a gaping hole for a mouth. So I'm wondering if that's leading into a massive type of crazy new, because we've gotten the Demogorgons, we've gotten the Mind Flayer, we've gotten Demodogs. What's the new upside down monster that we're going to get in this season? And she mentioned a massive monster with a gaping hole for a mouth. But then she says that the demons or whatever, they're coming into home in Hawkins. And then he showed me my mom, Holly, Mike. They were all, and she starts sobbing, and I realized she didn't mention her dad. Nobody cares about the dad. Nobody cares about the Wheeler dad. Vecna doesn't even care about him. Like, didn't mention him. It was just interesting. She mentioned every person in her family, but didn't say anything about her dad. You guys just a useless loser, even to Vecna. Just like Mike. That's how he gets it. Ha! Got some Mike slander in. Do we have anything else from season 4 before we move on here? 4 gates are opened. Things are popping off.
I'm good. What a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I know. The 4th gate fully open, but did 11 stop Vecna's plan? Like, he showed Nancy the plan, but then Max got revived and stopped her death. Was this all Vecna's plan, or did a hitch just get thrown in it? It makes you wonder.
Yeah, and they cut his head off, right? Or burned him alive, then...
They burned him alive and blew him with a shotgun, but they didn't cut his head off. He landed on the ground, and Michael Myers his ass out of there. So by the time they looked out the window, he was gone.
Vintage.
I guess before we fully move on from season 4, for some gripes, actually, the Hopper in jail thing didn't really land for me. Felt a little watered down. Although it was better than a lot of what we got from Hopper after season 1. Right. So it wasn't bad. It was cool enough to be invested, but I was still just like, yeah, this doesn't really feel like a full-on prison action.
It took a long time, too.
That, too. It was so dragged out from Joyce and Homeboy going and dealing with that.
Failed mission.
Yuri. Dude, and they continued to get stabbed in the back by that guy, and then they steal his plane, and they can fly a plane. And not only that, they can crash into a snowy forest, and all is going to be well.
They go back into the prison and like twice.
Yeah, so stressful. He breaks out and gets taken back in, and Hopper just back and forth. But at least the end of it, the Demogorgon fight was pretty cool.
It was
pretty cool.
Yeah,
that was probably the highlight of the whole thing, but it was just okay.
No, it felt super out of nowhere and just out of left field and not fitting. The only thing I really liked about it was Hopper's realizations and kind of going, I thought the town was cursed, or I thought it's me, it's not anything else. Like, I'm the problem with everything. And he's thinking about how his daughter passed away and his wife left and Joyce now. And and then he finally has the realization when Joyce comes back, where he's kind of back on his feet now. But it was interesting. We saw Hopper at his low and realizing, I'm just a piece of dirt. And now we got a more revived Hopper coming back in the action in season 5. But, so season 5, we got a trailer and we got a 5-minute sneak peek. Now, did we both watch the 5-minute sneak peek? Love, did you watch it? No. Do you care if I mention anything?
Go ahead.
Okay, so it's not really a spoiler of anything. It opens up. We see Will's side of things from season 1. He's in Castle Byers, hiding in the Upside Down as season 1 Will. And it's when we saw him get captured, we saw him load up a rifle, and then he disappeared. We never really know what happened. So he's got that rifle in Castle Byers in the Upside Down, hiding from a Demogorgon. He shoots the Demogorgon, runs off. Demogorgon catches him. So we see what happened to him in season 1 from Will's perspective, and he gets dragged to the house. But we see Vecna approaching Will, And we see that Will has, in fact, always been a part of his plan. He kind of sticks a tube in there and starts injecting him with, I didn't know if it was the slugs, which I'm assuming, because Will starts throwing up those slugs at the end of season 1. So stuff is crawling through this tube that Vecna hooks to his mouth, and I'm assuming it was slugs. But we see that Vecna essentially says, you and I were going to do such beautiful things together. So the whole time we learned that Will has been a part of Vecna's plan from the jump, and Vecna is not done with using Will. As we saw in the season 5 trailer, he force pulls Will over and he says, at long last, we can begin. I'm not done with you yet. So the first 5 minutes, it just shows a quick flashback of Will and Castle Byers being captured by a Demogorgon. So I even made a note after my season 4 thing. I said, I think that Will not being targeted by Vecna at all in this season is telling. Vecna was in his mind for over a year. There's no way Will's part in this is done. I think he's full on Vecna puppet as we go into the season. And then we got this opening showing that Vecna is in fact using him, and the trailer confirming it as well. So Will is going to be a big part. There's been a lot of theories that he was going to be the villain of season 5. Actually, people were saying last year and beyond. So that first 5 minute thing, it kind of just gives us a hint that Will is going to very much be a part of Vecna's plan here. Was it worth dropping? JD, do you think it was worth releasing this first 5 minute thing, or could they have done without it?
No, I don't think they really needed to at all. Their trailer was so hyped. It was such an epic trailer, and that's all you need. The fans are fans anyway, so people like me, I didn't even really care. I wanted to wait, just experience it fully as a whole. But I did it for the podcast, so I could see a lot of people just waiting. But hey, it's not a bad thing if you get a little taste of Stranger Things. It was awesome. I was tuned in for 5 minutes straight. And it did hype me up more, to be honest. So that's good. I was thinking of Will there and how if he had been dead this whole time, thinking of sacrificial deaths. What if he's tied to Vecna in a way where killing Vecna means Will has to die as well, or something like that?
Yeah.
I think Will, because he is so important to Vecna, and we don't know why or how or what the deal is there. So you got to expect something pretty weird to go on with Will.
Yeah. That was the entire season 2 plot. It was Will has this thing inside of him and he's being controlled. Will is a spy. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think I agree with you. I think Will's gonna have to be killed to stop Vecna, kind of deal. Like I was saying with Elle having to kill Will to stop this whole thing. I feel like we may have to see that happen. The trailer, we liked it. Lub, since you didn't watch the sneak peek, how'd you feel about the trailer leading into this?
Oh, I love the trailer. It's definitely grand in scope, like the quotes that came out. There's a new character. You see that kind of chunky kid in the trailer, kind of following the kids around. He popped up in a couple scenes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so there's another new character coming this season. It looks like a new friend of theirs. There's supposed to be a time jump too for this season. So we'll see how all that plays out. But yeah.
Really? Well, I guess we're gonna jump to where Hawkins is under military lockdown after the events, but I can't imagine it'll be too much of a time jump.
Right.
Huh. So yeah, I thought the trailer was solid. I think I dropped kind of a reaction thing on our social media there, but I think it's going to be the most action-packed season we've had. We've got a full military lockdown. We've got the Demogorgons and the Demodogs full on spilling out of here. And as we learned season 4, by the way, I wanted to mention that with the fight with the Demogorgons in the Russian prison. Demogorgons are scary, bro. Like that thing tearing apart those Russian guards, it's so fast and long, and just the way it was tearing apart those guards was just absolutely terrifying. So they do a good job of making these things scary. And now these things are about to just be breaking loose and coming into Hawkins. So I think it's really going to be an action-packed sequence or season. Big budget. Do we know what the budget's looking like in comparison?
Probably a lot.
It has to be higher because a lot of the things I've read is this is movie quality. So you definitely expect.
Sorry. Yeah.
Movie quality. A ton of movie quality is what we could expect that's what everyone's saying about it. So I imagine the budget's really high.
Okay. Can I screen share something here onto the episode to show you guys something? Okay.
Yeah. Go down.
I just paused it on the trailer. Lub, I see what you're talking about. We've got a portly fellow with glasses on standing with the rest of the kids. This is adult Mike, and standing behind him is season 1 Will. I'm so confused right now.
I didn't notice that.
You go down, press presenter invite, and then share screen.
Gotcha.
If you have that option.
Look at this.
And then add to stage.
And then I think you gotta accept it. Look at Will in the back right. That is season 1 Will with long hair and a red vest on. That is absolutely not high school Will.
Huh. Are you saying we're like time traveling or something?
Dude, that's
well. There's Busty's girlfriend too, right? With the glasses.
No, I think that's a different character as a whole. I don't know who that is. Maybe she's with. That's young Barb. Maybe I don't know. They said something about Barb being around on this too, and Barb's body. Barb was even at the red carpet event. The actress who plays Barb. That looks like a young Barb, but that is a young Will. That is 100% season 1 Will standing behind season 5 Mike. Like,
well, there's a theory about the two realities converging.
It's got to be, because how the hell does that happen?
Yeah. And who
now,
is that
actually,
on
this shot, that doesn't even look like Will. But that's like exactly his outfit. Like, that's old Will. Joyce is carrying old Will right there.
So old Will's in that other scene too.
That is old Will right there. What in the world, dude? Unless that's just a totally different kid, but that looks like young Will's exact vest in season 1. I'm looking it up now.
Does. But she's holding Will right there in the back.
Yeah, a knocked out Will. That's Will Byers' jacket from season 1. It's red at the top with blue. Bro.
Maybe they got to take little Will, suck his soul out, put it back into old Will. That, killing Vecna along the way.
Who's going to do it? Mike. Suck his soul out.
Yeah, and who's the new guy? That's the guy Loeb was talking about. The new kid.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other new person there. And I don't know who that girl is. I don't think it's I don't think it's Susie though, but did we just discover something there? That's totally young Will.
Interesting.
All right. Well, if we find out that we've got time travel coming in, we just caught it in this trailer here. You heard it here first. Sorry, that totally pulled me off. I don't even remember what we were talking about. That was a shock there. But anyways, it's coming out soon. November 28th? 29th for Volume 1?
That too, yeah.
Okay. Volume 2, Christmas Day, and then the finale's dropping New Year's Eve in theaters at select locations. So we're absolutely going to be covering it. Pretty stoked to see it. You guys got anything else to say before we head out of here?
Good to go.
All right. Well, at long last, we can begin season 5 coming up in a couple of weeks here. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us here today. As always, we appreciate the love and support, and we will see you next time on Why So Sidious, the Nerd Podcast.